What's up, Bounty Villains? Josh Bounty here. Today, we're going to be exploring a new video. This woman is talking down on passport bros, so you know we got to get into it. I would like to ask you guys to go ahead, like the video, sub to the channel if you're not already subbed, and leave your comments down below. It just pushes this video further into the algorithm. So let's get it and let's go.
Today we're going to be covering the cringy victim mentality that these people seem to have, the way that they are absolutely taking advantage of these women, the way that they low-key just hate women, and the way that they are enforcing toxic traditional gender roles and misogyny. After lurking around the dark corners of the web where passport bros do, I've learned a few things. These men are victims of the male loneliness epidemic. I have seen that phrase thrown around countless times in every passport bro conversation. To be fair,
every passport bro conversation that has been had by women that oppose the passport bros, they call them victims, sex tourists, they call them losers, losers back home, all these terms, because women like this cannot find a man. So what they do in the meantime, while they're single, being losers themselves and being busted and disgusted, they get mad at men that they would, otherwise reject, use for free validation, time, and attention, and they focus on them going overseas. And might I add, these guys don't even know these women exist. But yeah, what she's talking about now is going to be a whole bunch of feminist, gynocentric nonsense. So kind of hang in there and let's keep going.
It's not for nothing because a 2023 State of American Men report from Equimundo found that 2/3 of surveyed men between ages 18 and 23 say, "No one really knows me." Since 1990, the share of men who lack a single close friend quintupled to 15%. I have a few thoughts on this. A lot of the people in that surveyed group had COVID college, which meant that they didn't get those formative years, those formative friend-making years. I am one of them. I feel the effects of this. So I have to wonder why they didn't also just ask women this, because I'm not so sure it's a gendered issue as much as it is a generational issue and a
The reason why they didn't ask women is because women are not going to put themselves in that light. They don't want to look like losers, but 9 times out of 10, her herself is probably a loser, just like those guys that she's talking about. Didn't have a friend, at least one of them, and they were locked away. Because let's just be totally honest, women, let's be honest, like here, they don't even like each other. They're in competition with each other, especially for men, especially for lifestyle, and especially for looking the best. Women, they act like they're not in competition, but we all know that they're in competition. That's why they didn't survey women. They just wanted to know what was going on with men, because a lot of this stuff has dropped off. Marriage has dropped off, and they all look at the men, because the men have to propose. The men are the ones that are going out there and spending the money. And when women get a hold of the credit cards that these men have, if they get into relationships or marriages, women are the ones running up the debt, 77 to 80% of the debt in the United States. So yeah, what she's talking about is something that definitely happened during COVID. And they don't ask women because, let's just be totally honest, women don't initiate much. Women are not out there trying to get into relationships seriously. And a lot of them have had so many options since 2012 when Instagram was introduced, probably back in the Facebook days, but definitely Instagram has changed globalized dating for the worst, if you ask me. But let's keep going.
Circumstantial issue. And not only is this demographic missing out on formative years of socialization, I just think the post-COVID world is a lot more antisocial than it used to be. People are getting awkward talking to service workers. Don't you think you used to have a conversation with the person checking you out at Target? And now we do self-checkout. Everything's touchless, humanless, quick to go, and there's no time for relationships or cordial conversations. So let's be real. I am doubtful this is a male loneliness epidemic. I think it might be an everybody loneliness epidemic. But I do think that men might be feeling the effects a little bit harder due to the side effects of patriarchy, because men might feel less comfortable talking about their feelings because they don't want to be seen as weak or feminine, because God forbid a man talk about his feelings. I also have to say that these incel passport bros are always crying male loneliness epidemic, but then at the same time, whenever they are caught up in a tussle with a woman, they say, haha, feminist lonely cat lady will die alone. I'm like, wait, I thought we were sad for you because you're lonely, but when a woman's lonely, it's because she's a bitch. And based on my experiences with most of the like well-adjusted normal guys I know, it seems so easy to make friends as a guy. You just pull up to a gym, you go to a random soccer league, you go to a random hockey league, you sign up for some sort of random activity, and guys are so friendly that it's like, I like this, you like this, I'll see you next time. Done. Listen, if you're a lonely male watching this, sign up for some sort of sport club and you're done.
First of all, men don't just come out of nowhere and say, oh, we're lonely, we're lonely. The only reason women picked up on this is because of studies. That's the thing. Dudes that surveyed just told what the truth was in those studies. They just looked at their life and they said, this is what it is. And they came up with that study saying that, oh, is male loneliness epidemic in this country? Start questioning it, making articles. Women picked up those articles and then they started using that. Also, notice she used the jargon and sign language, shame, Mansoul's guilt, and the need to be right, saying all these incels, when guys don't sit around and call women femcels, but I do. I'm just saying most men don't. But women just seem to love to attack men and say that, oh, we thought you were the victims. We thought you were lonely. You picked up some studies. Guys aren't going to sit around and talk about their issues because men are about action. Women, they want to sit around. They want to socialize. They want to talk about their problems. Men are not like women. So she doesn't really seem to understand that the dynamic does not really coexist in that situation because men and women are different. But that's just something that I've noticed. Let's keep going.
Women, we have to be in the barracks, okay? We have to have a mutual hate for someone, okay? And we can't just meet a girl at Pilates and decide we like her. It takes weeks of complimenting outfits, of making eye contact, of trying to make eye contact in a way that's not bitchy and overanalyzing, but friendly and inviting, and seeing if we have common interests, if we'll vibe, and then going out and then trying not to get ghosted on her because we've just got a lot going on and we're too nervous and we get in our heads and it's a whole thing. You just have to play the same damn sport. Moving on.
Exactly. Because women are in competition. That's what I said earlier. It's more difficult for women to make friends with each other because they don't know if they're going to claw each other's eyes out. They don't know if they're going to try to go after one or the other that has a boyfriend. And that's the thing. Women are way more particular when it comes to having female friends. And once they get into one fight, once they get into one disagreement, somebody wrongs the other, they never want to talk to each other again. Guys are not like that. And that's the difference with the dynamic. Of course, she pointed it out. Yeah, men can join a sports league. They can go to the gym. They can make, but that also is kind of awkward too, because just imagine that she put like two pictures of Chads that, you know, are together and they're like, hey, you work out. Hey, you work out. It typically doesn't go that way, but she's not accounting for the regular guys that are in the gym. Maybe guys that are starters that just started going to the gym. What are they going to do? Approach a Chad? Hey, you go to the gym. You go to the gym too. And they're just going to hit it off. That seems kind of weird. That seems kind of awkward. And men really just don't do that. This just goes and show you that she doesn't understand the difference in the dynamics when guys meet up, their buddy. Of course, it's easy to have conversations with men, you know what I'm saying, being a man as well, because, you know, we have more things in common. But for women, it's definitely different. And it's definitely a competition component. And women always feel like, is she trying to compete with me? Is she trying me? Because women, they're just more dramatic. But let's keep going.
The entitlement of the passport bro community. These men think they are entitled to women. Not only are they outcast victims of society and a generation that doesn't value the white man anymore, they've also got an entitlement problem. This post is so cringe to me, where a veteran passport bro shares his best advice on finding quality women, because these guys are too good for American women. American women aren't trad enough. American women have too much of their own opinions and independence, and they don't want to make dinner and they want to do their own thing. These guys have such a sense of entitlement when I guarantee, I'm like, show me an emotionally intelligent, good-looking passport bro with a real job and I will delete this video, okay? I will.
So guys go overseas and they deal with those women over there. They're not entitled because women are women universally, whether you know it or not. So they're either going to mess with you or they're going to be like, okay, I'm not going to mess with this guy, or I'm going to take this guy for all his money. 9 times out of 10, guys that go over there, that go overseas, they have a better shot at dealing with women for what they actually want, for their wants and needs, and not just what you're thinking about, because most women are selfish, and they just have a better result over there.
Even better is to go see an attorney who specializes in helping foreigners move to whatever country you are in. I have known 2 guys who married legal secretaries like this, and both of them, they got amazing ladies 25 or 35 years younger who are smart, organized, and great moms. Okay, so this is a whole other topic I've been wanting to cover, but the way that this is so knowingly taking advantage of a woman who is so much younger than you, I don't care who the fuck you are, but if you are trying to marry someone 35 years younger than you are disgusting. You are a creep.
Of course, she's going to go ahead and shame men instead of looking up the information and looking up the poll that they took back, I believe, in 2020 or 21. And it showed that men between 18 and 65 prefer women in the sweet spot, which is their prime of 18 to 24. So men are always going to look for younger women, and women that are younger are always going to look for older men, even if it's much older. The thing is, men don't change. We still find all the men between 18 and 65, 70, 80, we all find younger women attractive. So it's not weird. It's not strange. It's not creepy. It's just biology. But of course, women, they can't take themselves out of their own 2 shoes. They're extremely non-sympathetic or empathetic to men. And this is just so telling. But let's keep going.
Creep, and you should seriously consider jail. And here is where not to look for women. There are a couple places where this approach is iffy. For instance, if you mention to any taxi driver in any city in the world that you are looking for a woman to show you around, he is probably going to set you up with women who will show you around in the biblical sense. You're an old man in the Philippines looking for hot young women. What the fuck? Be real, that's what you're there for, dumbass. Gyms are another gray area because many of the male trainers work as bouncers in the bars and usually know all of the professional daters in the area. Motherfucker, if you are a part of a Reddit thread that's just about going overseas to take advantage of young women, then you are a professional dater too, because you have clearly...
Notice how she calls it taking advantage. She says that men are taking advantage of women. How the hell are men taking advantage of women when women are more prone to be manipulative? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Women typically are able to be more socially calibrated and can hit on way more social cues than men. So how the hell can the manipulator be manipulated by men? How can they be used up by old men? It doesn't matter the age. The thing is, she can't picture it because, of course, you know, she's completely programmed. But once she turns about 35, 40 years old, 45, she hasn't already found a simp or a sucker to deal with her fake femininity and her feminist mindset. She's going to start looking for guys that are much older than her. So I like how these women talk like they know what they're talking about. But when they get up in age and they've been ran through and guys have just been selling them the dream, they're doing the same thing and talking about the same guys that they talked about and trashed years before, a decade or 2 before. Absolutely ridiculous. But let's go back.
Invested lots of time and money into this. And if you're too broke to date women in your own fucking country, maybe if you put as much time into your real profession as you do, you might be able to date women in your own country. You might be able to afford to take a woman to Applebee's in the United States. Also, many of the professional daters hit the gym every day about noon to work off the previous night's champagne and lobster. It's just tricky. Like, how gross to have so many ideas on what a perfect woman is when guaranteed you're a crusty old white dude. The entitlement of these people is ridiculous. Check out this one. Passport Bros is men's answer to Tinder. Tinder has reshaped the dating market in that it gave all the power to women to choose the men they want, which is exclusively the top 10% most attractive men in any given population. This pushes 90% of men out of the dating market, while 90% of women are allowed to be active. Kind of like free entry for ladies at a club, where the ladies are also the bouncers. You feel personally attacked by the app Tinder. I'm going to be honest. It is like a fair market. Like, how are you gonna be pressed that Tinder exists? How are you gonna be pressed that you're not getting game? There are so many options here.
Notice that she said there's so many options here in the United States, so how can you blame Tinder? The thing is, those options clearly are depleting and men don't want those options. She never really considers that. She just says, there's so many women here. How could you, not find a woman here? Maybe you need to step your game up. How do you not have game here? How do you not have Has she ever even looked at the quality control of the women? Has she looked at the habits of women? Of course, she just mentioned them, but of course, every single time she glosses over that. And that's the thing. Men want to have variety and options. And let's just be totally honest. Old, young, middle-aged dudes want to smash. I don't care what nobody's talking about. I don't care about how much sign language she uses. Men want to smash. We only deal with women for sexual access. But of course, if she hears that, her little feelings are going to get hurt and she don't want to hear the truth. But dudes only deal with this chick. Hit this girl up, DM her and all of her friends, if she has any, to smash. Once the sex is done, it's on the woman to try to get the relationship because the guy is trying to get the sex. Or he's just going to move on to the next one. But of course, it's so much easier to shame a man. It's so much easier to act like you don't understand because you're not a man. So of course, you're going to take it out on him and say, well, there's so many options. How can you blame that? It's like, well, how can you blame a man for thinking outside of the United States? If you just mentioned that women are not as trad and that's not what men are looking for, why the hell would they stay there? But yeah, let's keep going.
Selling this dream of the United States being paved with gold, about them having amazing, stable jobs where they can get them anything they want. Another great example of this is Jasmine and Gino from 90 Day Fiancé. When Jasmine and Gino are talking online, Gino is hyping himself up that he's so wealthy. He's sending her back money for BBLs and wedding dresses and whatever she wants because, again, the conversion rate, it's not that steep for him. But the second she comes to the United States, it's not like he had the best job in the world, but he quits that job and he moves her into his house, which I think was already paid off. But she starts going around this house that she thought was so grandiose and amazing and realizing that this guy is broke and disgusting. She starts going through the house and finding 10-year-old pillowcases that are giving her hives. The toilet is like absolutely blacked out, disgusting. Another great example of this is Anfisa and George. Anfisa is this beautiful, young Russian woman who is engaged to Colt, who's kind of just an average American guy. He brings her over to the United States with the biggest promise. He promises her the world. He tells her that she will be able to have anything she wants if she sacrifices everything to move to the United States as like a 21, 22-year-old woman. She does all this for him, moves to the United States, and realizes that Colt still lives with his mom. And she has the expectation that he had set fairly that she could do anything she wants. So when she's wedding dress shopping and he's limiting her budget on every single dress, obviously that's gonna be frustrating. I think it's so clear that he's only with her for her youth and beauty, so I don't really see why it's a problem for her to be with him for the money when that's the expectation he set from the very beginning. But she didn't lie that she was gorgeous. She came and she was gorgeous, but he lied about the money and she was the one who had to do all the sacrificing to come. He didn't sacrifice anything. And this is the passport bro way. You go to a less wealthy country where you can take advantage of the conversion rate, you can take advantage of women in difficult situations, and you can promise them the world because who gives a fuck by the time they're trapped in the United States in your shithole house, what are they gonna do? And this post proves everything that I am saying right now in the creepiest way possible.
This got to be absolute dog shit. This is garbage because if she believes this, she's nuts. Because first of all, the number one rule of passporting is don't bring the women back. So that's how you know this is all scripted. This is all fake. And she's so engaged. She's really thinking that this is true. So why the hell would a guy bring that woman all the way back over here? And to say that, oh yeah, well, the second woman, she's Russian, she's beautiful, she's young, she was beautiful and all this stuff. Notice how she bigged her up. It said, you know, how good and stuff. And then she looked at the guy and said, oh, he's just an average guy. That's the thing right there. She's just a pretty face. And any guy that's a passport bro, a real passport bro, not one on this 90 Day Fiancé show, can go out and get another woman anytime he wants. If he can pull that chick and apparently she's bad, he can go to the Philippines, he can go to Japan, he can go elsewhere and he can pull a baddie. So I don't really buy it, but of course she buys it. She really thinks that this is going on and she's basing 90 Day Fiancé off of her research. And she's looking at one guy, that older guy who made this tweet that she just completely tried to dismantle and say, oh, they're creeps, they're weird, you need to go to therapy, you have issues. She's all basing her information off of that and a fake show. Absolutely ridiculous how easy it is to brainwash and manipulate women's minds. And it's been going on for years, decades. It's just absolutely insane. But of course, she's going to take this time to send pot shots to the guy, both of those passport bros, and say how disgusting they are. And why would you bring the women back? That's like rule number one. Never bring the women back to America. And the exchange rate going overseas, it makes total sense. I would rather be getting paid United States dollars and spending money over there when I can save more money and have more money to do certain things, rendezvous with different women, rather than trying to lock a chick down like in this fake show. This show is absolute satire, but I just want to point that out.
Passport bros often talk about what attracts them to a woman. Guys like sweet girls, sexy girls, kind girls, fit girls, and so on. But I believe they miss one key attribute that a woman needs to build a successful relationship with a foreigner: bravery. Guys talk a lot about what they look for in a woman. Many guys head overseas talking about wanting a traditional woman, but they don't always define traditional very well. Most guys mention terms like sweet, kind, compassionate, and that makes a lot of sense. Of course, most men mention beauty, but men are such fools for beauty. And I am not leaving myself out of that sad equation. It's just a major hassle. Bro, my broke ass had to pay for my girl to get a $50 haircut the other day. Women, right? They're mad at women for being beautiful. They're mad at women for costing money. But then they also want women to be beautiful. But then they also want women to not work and stay at home and cook and clean for them. What do you want? The importance of bravery. Most guys never stop and consider how much guts it takes to decide that they are going to date a foreign man. It is not an easy choice. Women often get a lot of pushback from friends and family. They have to have an adventurous spirit because they are being asked to give up their friends, family, and where they have lived their entire life and put their complete faith in some guy who usually speaks a language they barely understand. This takes guts and deserves big respect. So you realize you're asking women to put themselves into one of the most vulnerable positions imaginable in a country where they hardly speak the language, where they don't have money, where they are completely dependent and reliable on a man. Okay, so you're admitting that it takes a brave, possibly naive woman to choose this fate, but this is what you're looking for. You have now admitted that your scary ass is literally just looking for women brave enough, naive enough, or desperate enough to put themselves into a trap with you. Like, I'm so sorry. You must actually suck. If you feel that the only way that you could possibly have a meaningful long-term relationship with a woman is by ensuring that she has no means of leaving you, then I'm so scared. Like, you actually must suck. You must be no fun at parties.
Filipino women are very beautiful. And so it's really true. When you come to the Philippines, most of the women are very height, weight proportional.
Sir, I do not think you should be talking about height, weight proportional when you look like if a pug dog were a human being. You look like Chip and Dale, and not the Disney chipmunks. You look like you ate 2 Chip and Dale dancers.
And
you see how she just takes the pot shots at the guy and not really listens to what he says? It goes in one ear, it goes right out the other, but only thing she extracts from it is how the guy looks. Guys aren't really looked at for their looks. They're looked at for provisioning, providing a stable household, protection, and a guy willing to die for them and put themselves on the line. That's how guys show commitment. But she's so like rooted in, disrespecting these guys, talking crazy about these men, because clearly, it's clear as day she doesn't respect them, but the reason is absolutely ridiculous. And whoever she is reading this or wherever she's reading this information from is totally stupid, because men that, have that stupid relationship bug, bro, that's cooked. Like, those dudes are totally cooked, because you have to put a woman through a vetting stage. And of course, men want relationships with women, but the way she's describing a relationship and saying that, oh, well, you have to put your trust into a man so, he can bring you back over here to the United States, and he's a loser and bum and doesn't have anything. Like I said it before, I'll say it again. Last time, dudes do not bring these women back to the States. I don't know what the hell she's talking about and where she's getting this information from, but she's basing it solely around that information and making a video over it. And then she goes back to the TLC show, 90 Day Fiance, and uses those references, thinking that guys are really doing that. Of course, there's a lot of guys that might be suckers, might be dumb, may not really know the game here in the West, and then use it to their advantage to get an actual woman, like, talking about vetting a woman, figuring out if this woman is good for you, or, thinking that he's going to take her back to the States. Only a dummy would do that, because they're just going to turn out like this woman, confused, ran through, and most likely not even going to have any like actual prospects for the guys that she actually wants, because those guys don't want her. Once they hear her talk, once they hear her mindset, those guys are trying to hightail it out of here. But yeah, I just noticed that. But let's keep going, because she's trying to cook this guy.
Just have a very natural beauty to them. A lot of times you see them winning in like Miss World or Miss Universe contests. And those are the top end of the good looking people in the Philippines. When they go out, they want to look good. So they do wear makeup, they do take care of themselves, they do dress up, which is a far cry from when I usually go to the Walmart back in the United States and the women are wearing their sweatpants and they're wearing their t-shirts and they've got no makeup on.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. And here's the other part about trad red pill bros. A lot of these guys are possessive and controlling. So if you try to dress up and go to, let's say, Walmart, he's gonna look at you and say, oh, what are you all dressed up for? Who are you trying to impress? And belittle you until you're like, fuck it, I'll wear sweatpants. We know this one. We know this one.
How the hell are dudes belittling you when they're just literally asking you and having conversation? Hey, where you guys off to? You look beautiful. I would like to get to know you. I think you're attractive. I think you're cute. Let's exchange information. But no, of course she jumps right off of the bridge with the rest of the crazy feminist Looney Tunes, you know, that want, you know, matriarchy so bad. And she just believes straight out of the back that this guy is trying to humble her and belittle her. What the hell? But of course, she's just taking this time to deliver pot shots when she's just sitting there at her place of, it just seems like she's in her room. She has nothing but a bed. Looks like she's in a motel, to be honest with you. Maybe she just got, you know, smutted out, but let's continue.
Chances for divorce when you marry a Filipina and you bring her to the United States, or heck, if you stay in the Philippines, are much lower statistically than they are going to be if you marry a regular non-Asian American woman.
Your goal with marrying a mail order bride is to fucking trap her. You know why the divorce statistics are lower? Because she has no home to go to if she's in trouble. She has no family to call if she's in trouble. She probably has no friends to go to if she's in trouble. She's left her community, her country. She has no resources. She has no bank account in the United States. She has no social security number. She might not be able to drive. You're probably too broke to give her a car to go do her own damn things. She probably doesn't speak much of the language. She might not understand how the divorce system works in the United States, and you've probably made her so financially dependent on you that she has no other option but to stay. These dumbasses toting that there's a lower divorce percentage when of course there is. It's because you have to fucking trap this woman. Warning for the young.
How they're trapping the woman when the woman already was raised up to go ahead and be with the man. So if the woman is, you know, herself and she's going out there trained unlike you, and she knows how to treat a man, that guy 9 times out of 10, even a Western man, is not going to leave her. What will probably happen though, if she's really good with men, she's very, you know, caring, different, feminine, you know, friendly, submissive. She might just run off with another guy. Her hypergamy might just kick in. So are men really trapping these women? I don't suggest men to bring women back to the States, as I've said multiple times, but if that does happen, what the hell makes you think that she is going to be trapped with no bank account, no car, and the guy is not going to take care of her? So this sounds good on paper, what she's saying. Oh, you just want to trap the woman. You just want to trap her. When, what did I just say a minute ago, guys? Men are more prone to put women on a pedestal, to take care of women because it's in our DNA. We're not trying to humble them, trap them, do all this crap. But the thing is, she doesn't understand how those women overseas are. They're nothing like Western women. They're not thinking about all that dumb shit that she's thinking about that's going to masculinize her. She's only going to be focused on the man, and the man in return is going to treat her well. But of course, she doesn't know any of this, and maybe she never received any love growing up, or maybe she didn't have a father. Let's continue on.
Best decision I ever made was marrying a woman from another country. I lived with an American girl for almost 10 years, but I just couldn't marry her. Girls, this is a lesson. If you feel that you have been dating your man for a long enough time and he is not making the moves, it's time for you to leave. She didn't do anything but complain and find shit to be unhappy about. I finally edited it and moved to another city for a fresh start. By chance, I met my wife who had just moved to the US about 5 years earlier. She had a completely different view on relationship rules. She wants to take care of me in the house. She wants to cook dinner for her family. It brings her pride to know that she's the backbone of her household. I tried to leave the house one day in a wrinkled shirt, and she was worried that people would think I have a bad wife that don't love me. She reminds me of the way my mother took care of my daddy in the house when I was little. Ew. You want a hospice mommy? Okay.
No, we don't want a hospice mommy. What we want is a woman to show that we can actually give her kids. And these are little tests that men think about, and they see, okay, if he's walking out with a wrinkled shirt, let me take care of that. It's not because we want our mommy or we want a hospice mom. The thing is, we think about our offspring in the future. Is she going to take care of the kid? Is she going to make sure that the kid is looking sturdy? If it's a boy, you know, his slacks, his shirt, everything is pressed out, ironed, no wrinkles. And if it's a girl, her dress ain't all ruffled up. That's the thing. But of course, this is just another woman right here that's modern taking pot shots. And this is why guys run through this chick. They never take her serious for anything long term because she doesn't understand the dynamics between males and females and what men are actually looking for. Only thing she can actually do is talk shit about it. But I mean, I'm just not really like surprised anymore with these women. They're so young. They talk all this crap. They got all of this mouth, but they wonder why guys are going overseas. They're wondering why guys are leaving these types of posts. And they're telling their experience, and they have experience, and they're telling you the cold, hard facts. And then she's sitting up here talking crazy about guys that don't even know that she exists for views, for clicks. But I'm not surprised as well as you guys aren't. Let's keep going. It's almost over, I promise.
Solid old fashions or whatever. She takes care of me and I take care of her. I pay all the bills, I provide a home and a car for her, and she's extremely thankful. Women in the US feel entitled and expect to get everything and do nothing in return. What was your fiance bitching about? Like seriously, like I would love to know her side of this. I would do anything to know your girlfriend's side of this story.
Yeah, we already know what it is. Bitching about, take me out. How come I can't be like the girls there? We don't go on expensive, lavish vacations. I want this good car. Why don't you get me this new Tesla? Why aren't you like these guys that I see on my feed? The same old nonsense that women complain about that nag the shit out of men. They become a bunch of saggy, naggy Maggies that guys just don't want to deal with. But of course, she's like, I would love to hear her side when men have complaints. She acts like women are just perfect in a bubble and they don't have anything that makes men tick. But that is absolutely ridiculous. And what do you expect from a modern woman? Ridiculous. Let's keep going.
My wife is from Colombia, but I met her in France, which is a first world country, and I married late in my early 40s, and my wife is late 20s. I'm gonna go with it. You're 49 and your wife is 24. That's my guess. I am far from an old geezer since I keep in shape, and I have an MS and soon PhD and work in a technical field. I always wanted a blonde or light-haired girl, but I liked her olive look and lush dark hair and slim, lean, hourglass body. She initially thought I was 30. Oh, what a flex, brother. But when I told her the truth, she didn't care and liked my sense of humor and previous work travels. I find it hard to believe that any guy on r/passport bros has a good sense of humor because the funny guys that I know are all dating hot girls. Everybody knows this. Funny guys always have girlfriends. And if you have to be a passport bro, you are not a funny guy. Pick up the...
She's ridiculous because clearly she just told on herself. That's the reason why he got the girl. That's why the girl is 20 years younger than him. That's why, because he's funny. Women understand that guys are funny universally. She just hated anybody that's a passport bro is not a funny guy because they're all day. Stop the bullshit. Those guys have the option. We have way more options overseas than you have here in America. That's why a lot of you women are single. She literally just tells on herself. She contradicts the hell out of herself. She's a hypocrite, guys. Like, this is clear as day. She just said, I know funny guys. Yeah, the guys that are from the West that we're talking about here that you're hating on, they are funny too. And guess what? Women know what the hell a funny guy is universally. If she finds him funny and she's way younger and she does all these things, guess what? He's a funny guy. He just didn't select women like you in the West. Bingo. This is so simple. But women, they always look to disqualify. They always look to use sign language like this. They always look to hate, knowing damn well these dudes are the type of dudes they would probably go for. How the hell is he able to pull the woman if he's not funny? How the hell is he able to pull the woman and be with her 20 years younger than himself? She claims that is a hard feat to come across. Like, it's very difficult. It is. I will say that. It's very difficult to be a guy that's 49 years old, like she's guessing, and she said, I'm guessing your girlfriend's 24. It's very difficult to do that even in the West. So clearly, this is one of those type of guys. Keep on hating, lady, and let's keep going.
Comedy book. I got a few in my closet I could lend you. They will say, why didn't you marry an American woman? Well, American women are highly feministic. Is that even a word? Since white women feminism encourage women to go for tall men. Bruh. Okay, first off, the patriarchy is what encourages women to go for tall men because women need to be small little tiny creatures at all costs. You know why? Because shrinking yourself is valued as a positive thing for a woman to be. We're always asked to lower our voices, to be more more delicate, to be smaller, so that we can take up less space, get less of a voice. That's what it's all about, control.
No, it's because you are feminine women. Women are the opposite of men. Men are loud, men are boisterous, men are big. And last time I checked, even probably yourself, want a man that's stronger than you, taller than you, that could actually like beat the crap out of a guy and hold a baby at the same time. So what she's saying doesn't make any sense. She's just nitpicking at little things that she finds attractive herself. She knows this. And she's talking about, oh, blaming it on the patriarchy. What the hell does the patriarchy have to do with anything? The patriarchy actually helps her. Patriarchy is something that allows her to talk about men in this fashion, to talk about men in this facet, and also have a cell phone, a camera. Because without the patriarchy, you guys don't get to say any of this stuff. Without freedoms here in the West, you don't even get to squander any of these thoughts and bring them out of your mouth. If you go to the Middle East, they're going to, I don't even want to say what the hell they would do to you over there. If you go somewhere else, they're not tolerating that. So the patriarchy actually helps you to say the dumb stuff that you say, and you're allowed and afforded the ability to do so.
So for you to say that it's anything other than the patriarchy is ludicrous. I am 5'6", so they rejected me. I had already given up on women and thought I would die alone until I met her. I had 3 choices in America, which are get height surgery, which is dangerous and experimental, go for fat women, or go for women that are my age, but mostly all are already single moms. You're gross. So if you know a passport bro, be sure to give him a swift kick in the ball sack on my behalf today. And if you like this,
and if you are a passport bro, you can go ahead and verbally give her a nice kick in the tits and let her know straight away that she's disgusting, because she doesn't understand the plight of men. She doesn't understand, or she does understand, and she's upset that men actually have the ability to get women and not just settle for fat women like he said, or the women that are in the West that are denying him being 5'6". Me, I'm 5'8.5", 5'9" actually, and I'm able to get women. I've never had an issue. I've dated women that are taller than me. I've smashed women that have been almost 6 feet tall, 5'11", and I date women that are typically shorter. That's just me. Most of the women, Hispanic, Asian, black, white, that I deal with, I think it was one Indian girl one time long ago, a Belizean girl, they've all been 5'4", 5'3", 5'2". So I really don't have that issue, and a lot of people don't. But what the hell's the problem with him having his option and going overseas and getting with a chick and having more to choose from? They just want you to choose, cherry pick, and deal with their bullshit and deal with their standards. Not gonna happen. And that's why she's so upset at passport bros. I didn't even want to play the rest of the video. It's pretty much over. She's absolutely just trying to verbally assassinate these men, but it doesn't really work because those guys don't really listen to this. She just sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 when she talks. So nobody gives a damn about what this girl has to say. Yeah, man, it's Bountyville. I got y'all back, man. Like, chicks like this that just want to talk, use ad hominem attacks, and just be mean. Just because, you know, they're on their period, their cycle's not going good, and there's no guy there, you know, to soothe their pain, they're going to go after guys that are passport bros. She says that, oh, women have to be weak and feeble and small, and they can't raise their voices because of the patriarchy. But at the same time, those guys that you look for are big, strong, boisterous, and men are just not going to take you serious if you're acting just like them. But anyway, guys, I love y'all. Make sure you guys like the video, sub to the channel, post notifications on, because I'm pretty much posting a video here every single day. This went way longer than I thought it would. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below about this chick, roaster, cooker, do what you guys do. I'll see you guys in the next video, all right? Peace. 2 times, Bountyville, I'm out.
If one of us eat, then we all ball. Sip coladas out in Cancun. Please stop praying for my downfall. It ain't coming no time soon. From the concrete, a little bitty rose grew.